Welcome to this week's podcast with Chuckster from World Class Assassins, and I'm here with my man Beast.
Hey!
And we have a special guest this week. I actually show some love to Nexus Gaming, and I got AcuteChronic in here. Yeah, apparently I hate Nexus, which secretly I might just possibly do that.
We'll never know.
I never know. We brought him in to talk a little bit about Nexus Gaming and what's going on with those guys. But before we run into that crap, let's go ahead and talk about
crap. It's gonna be awesome.
It's not crap. You're right. It's like a golden little nugget. Let's talk about Alienware, especially with us getting into playoffs. Beast, what do you got for us?
Yeah, this past week we had the Prime 8v8 matchup of World Class Assassins and Rival Gaming. That took place on Scene Crossing, and Rival was able to take the 2-0 victory. So as far as I'm concerned, the season is over now. The playoffs are going to be starting, the Alienware Invitational as it's called. The top 16 teams are going to be playing in that tournament starting May 8th, so it's about another week from now. It looks like Nexus is still number one, although I thought that they were done playing 8v8, but conveniently we have Mr. AcuteChronic here. So, Acute, are you guys going to play in that invitational tournament, or are you guys completely done with 8s?
I hate to take the mystique out of it, but we're still debating whether or not we're going to continue to play come playoff time. As far as any further ventures go with the 8s team, we're done. We're focusing on 4s, but it's been kicked around the forums. It doesn't look promising, but I wouldn't count us out. We might just throw out and pug it, but I can't give you a straight answer.
I don't know. I think it could be worth it. I mean, if you, especially you guys having the number 1 seed, you guys technically wouldn't have to play WKA or Rival until the championship. So I see no reason why Nexus wouldn't be able to participate. And once you get in the championship, they're doing that new 3-map system, and it's really anyone's game at that point. So I think Nexus would be smart to participate. I hope that you guys do, Acute. Outside of that 8v8 realm, the main place for 4s, as we learned last week, is CGL. The top teams still looking pretty similar. Nexus, BF3. Those guys, Flatline and the Minions are in the top 4. They're all at 3-0 right now. So it looks like Nexus is playing those guys and Flatline's playing Minions. So there's some good 4v4 matches on the horizon upcoming this week.
And let me just tell everybody, if you guys haven't been made aware just yet, the CGL forums, not the forums, but if you go into the division of 4v4, there's actually a prediction area where as long as you log in, you can actually do a little prediction. I actually found out about this today, and let me tell you, it's actually a pretty cool feature. Props out to PHP Gator for setting that up. I mean, it's a great idea.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like rant boards on TWL, except way better, because you can actually not only see what the person predicted, but you can also give a round 2-1, 2-0, and then you can also leave a comment. So it's pretty awesome. It's very interactive. Big props to CGL for adding that in there. And looking at those right now, those guys in Nexus right now is 49% to 51. So that that's going to be a good game. And the Minions right now are predicted to lose at a 42% rate. So another very close matchup there. It's awesome for casual people who are looking on, might want to know who's going to win, etc. You look at the predictions, and it's pretty fun. It's good stuff.
All right, so let's go ahead and get to the man of the hour, Mr. AcuteChronic from Nexus Gaming. And I gotta be honest, I gotta give that love to Nexus Gaming, because apparently I don't do it. So, Chronic, let's talk a little bit about Nexus Gaming and what the fuck are you guys doing?
I wish I knew, but we have 2 teams currently, Nexus Dar and Nexus BF3. Nexus BF3 is Kaiser, Killa, Proof, and the recent addition to Glorin, he's in there. Side Draft and Andal. And then Nexus Dart is Rex Creation. And it started off as his own side project, not affiliated, but due to his performance, we've assimilated him into the organization. And he's got guys like Flex and Popcorn and Subcom and Hirsch, and they've been doing a fantastic job.
Ghost.
Yeah, and they just picked up Shane is not as Ghost
Love
yesterday. And yeah, he's a good guy, great player. From Clerks, I believe, and Fragment.
Yep.
So he was a great addition. So there's a lot of good inter competitions going on pretty much every night at Nexus at a high level, and I think that's keeping those guys near the pinnacle of Force play right now.
So why did you guys actually drop AV8?
Honestly, it was a dedication thing. At the time, we were really struggling with 4s, and we were just scrimming 8s. And to be honest, even like looking to scrim 8s was difficult, as WK must know. There's not a lot of good teams out there to really drop gloves with. It's the same teams over and over again, and oftentimes you're playing those teams, so you can't even scrim them. So it got to the point where the work didn't outweigh the benefits anymore, and guys were getting a little worn out. So, I mean, we made some key additions like Rake and those 20 ID guys to help fill in our ranks of guys that were getting ready to drop out, myself included. And it just really wasn't enough to keep our motivation going, so we decided to bow out of that race.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic about how many teams are actually competitors in this game. And when I'm gonna give a kind of little rant, but
oh god,
when Rival and X Factor's minions scrim each other and do that, and then when Rival expects the minions not to scrim WK, let's be honest, there's only fucking 3-4 teams now that are playing that are worth the matchup of a scrim, especially when you're going to be competing against the #1 team. It's kind of sad to see that minions can't scrim WK because of whatever for their matchup against Rival later. So
I didn't even know there was an affiliation there too. I mean, I knew X Factor obviously was the evil genius or whatever you want to call him, the Frankenstein of the minions, but I didn't know that it wasn't its own entity until recently. I can't believe they put those type of restrictions on, honestly.
Yeah, they're gonna be the minions until apparently the minions beat Rival in a match, or I don't know if they lowered it to a scrim, but once the minions take down Rival, then they were able to change their name. I don't know if they're gonna be able to separate, but their name will at least be able to change.
I don't know, for some reason I feel like that's a tad bit demoralizing in one case, but I mean, they were a creation of, X Factor's little project, and so they might, on their side of things, they might feel grateful or whatever, but as a player that's been playing in the community for a long time, I kind of find that a little degrading.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, now don't get me wrong, I love some of the guys on X Factor's minions, and I'm friends with the rival, selected guys in the Rival community as well. But I think at some point it becomes a detriment to the community that you can prevent teams from scrimming. Because, I mean, like I said, part of the reason that Nexus left was we just couldn't find teams of that caliber. The minions, the WK, Crimson, Rival, scrimming enough. And I know I left a few teams out, so I apologize, but it just
not really. Crucial. Maybe.
It wasn't much, yeah, Crucial, No Mercy. It just wasn't enough to keep us going.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, but you have your own little project going on right now at CGL, sponsored by CGL. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that CGL draft?
Honestly, it's nothing really original. It's something that if you were in BF42 a long time ago, like Lithos and one or two other guys that are still playing in the Battlefield series, are familiar with. It's a draft tournament, or a league rather. We're looking at 10 teams. So far we have over 150 players in the pre-sign-ups, or whatever you want to call them, the unofficially registered guys, rearing to go. we're looking at hopefully 14 rounds in the draft, so we'll have about 140 players able to compete, and then a free agency pool. So if you don't get drafted, there's still a good chance. I mean, we got a lot of features, a lot of redundancies to keep this fair and equal. You know, there's not going to be any teams that are stacked as long as everything goes to plan. I think it should be a good time.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to it. I know as soon as you made that post on the BF3 esports forums, it kind of like, I know I responded right away and it kind of blew up. Did you expect this kind of participation, you know, right away to get this many signups this fast?
Honestly, with the 8v8 format, and hopefully it becomes 10v10, you know, if captains want to try to get more members involved that show up for matches, but I was hoping, but I didn't expect it, no. I mean, it's great that it's blown up the way it has. I'm glad that players that haven't had the opportunity to play for a committed 8s team are looking forward to, you know, getting their action in, and, you know, hopefully it breeds new 8s teams and gets that community going again. So, you know, I'm just happy the way that it's taken off and all the support from the community like yourself and Chuckster and Mess and the guys over at CGL.
You talk a little bit about the balancing. How are you guys putting, what are you guys putting into place to balance out the teams?
We implemented a system of player rankings, which does date back to the original way that the league has been run. It's a little bit different. Before, there was just admins ranking people, and I'll go into the ranking system a little bit later, but currently we have something around 13 players, and there's going to be 3 more players, community figureheads, 10 team captains, ranking players, and all that gets averaged out onto a scale, and the scale is based off of their position, whether it's infantry, tanker, pilot, etc. And the ranking scale is somewhat imperfect, but as long as each individual captain ranks consistently throughout, it all averages down perfectly. So we've implemented that system. We've implemented a system that we think will work out really well. Actually, Glorin invented it for the draft, and we can go into that later if you'd like. That's some material that I don't mind giving out. And we've also implemented some free agency and trading situations that, of course, with admin approval can get passed. So we're kind of priding ourselves in trying to create an environment of a high level of competition without one team really just running away. We don't want to be able to throw, you know, one team out there that's going to go 8-0 or something like that. We're hoping to have a little bit of a contest at every match.
Yeah, I think it's outstanding. I'm one of the community raters, and I gotta say, like, the system is great. I think it's gonna provide fair ratings for, like, I think everyone is given the chance to do things their own way, which is how it really should be. So let's talk about how these players are actually going to be selected. I mean, going into the draft, we'll kind of go ahead and talk about the draft and what you guys had in mind for that.
Well, every single captain, just like any other player, they've all been rated. And what we're going to do is we're going to have the lowest captain rating, and it's nothing personal, you know, it's just, for example, you know, Glorin, as of right now anyways, of the captains we have selected, is the highest rating captain, so he's going to have the last pick in the draft, as of now. That could change with the 3 additions that we're looking to bring on, but the lowest ranked individual is going to have the first pick in the draft. And let's say he chooses, you know, player X, and they have a player rating of 450, and that captain that chose him with the first pick has a player rating of 400. Their then combined total player rating as a team is now 850. So let's say, you know, picks 2 through 10 go, and that captain still has the lowest total value, then he would have the first pick in the second round as well. So it would scale every single round at the team's total player ranking value. So there's going to be some strategy. Maybe some guy's going to get a second round valued player in the first round. That way they can go ahead and take a very high level player in the second round and maybe try to spread their talent. So, I mean, each captain's going to be approaching it differently. Some people are going to be going best player available, but it should bring a certain spin to things that we think will work out nicely.
I actually really like that. I think
Yeah.
that's gonna definitely keep things very balanced. That's sweet.
I mean, originally we had like a serpentine setup where if you had the first pick, you'd have the last pick, but we thought overall this would probably be the best way to go. We've also implemented a system that you can only draft X many players from a team that you're affiliated with. That way you can get to know other players within the community, and you're not just stacking a team full of players of your own guys.
Right. What about position? Is there a limit on, like, say you wanted like 3 or 4 tankers, but you know that you could play a couple of them at infantry? Are there going to be limits on number of positions that you can draft, or?
No limits. The only limit we have is on the team affiliation, and reason being is that people value things differently. So let's say Chuckster's a captain, he wants to draft 3 tankers. I mean, I don't know if that's in your best interest, but you know, you can do that. It's up to you how you value those players.
Cool.
The strategy would be just to take all the tankers away from the other teams for me.
Just pick the top 5 tankers.
And when teams have to put infantry into tanker roles, I mean, GG, I win,
You're
right?
screwed, but then you have to put
good game.
tankers and infantry roles. So, you
I
never
mean,
know.
air's going to be a factor too. We are going to have a couple air maps and probably 1 or 2 jet maps. Maybe something like Karg, where it's still, you know, a viable map to have some good ground game as well. But you know,
Yeah,
air will
Karg's a
be a
great
factor.
map.
Yeah, I loved playing Karg, and I think the last time I played it, honestly, it was TWL, the entry tournament there. But it's a fun map to play.
So there's a lot of strategy to finding some diamonds in the rough.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting to see where some of the, because most of the guys we have are 8s captains. I mean, some of them, like Enemy Down and Lethal, know the Force community very well, Glorin. But some of the guys are more along the lines of 8s players, so they might have a disadvantage going into the later rounds, but maybe they are better at stratting out for the 8s style of play. So I can tell you now all the captains were handpicked by CGL, and they're all, you know, fantastic team leaders and players. So whatever team you end up on, I guarantee you're going to have a fair shot at going all the way.
So the pilots out there that basically don't have a team or can't really compete because most leagues have just ground maps, they should be signing up to this also.
Definitely. We've actually gotten a lot of praise from the pilots. And the pilot from Nexus, Godzi, he's an Australian. He's going to be, I don't know if he's going to be skipping work for this, but he's definitely going to be playing in the.
He's
in the
finally going
tournament.
to be useful.
Yeah, he's finally going to be utilized. He's not a bad infantry player. You can't.
I know a
knock
lot
him,
of people
but
like that, so it's
but,
good. I think the
yeah.
pilots definitely should be grateful because it's sweet.
I mean, it's Battlefield, man. You got to incorporate all 3 elements to the game.
Well, speaking of the 3 elements, are you guys ever thinking about branching off to the 12v12 scenario?
I can tell you that I don't know if we're ever going to go Conquest Large, but as far as this league goes, it's encouraged for the captains, if they have 12 players in their mumble ready to go, to play all 12. And it's probably, they'll still remain on the Conquest Small. I know for some maps it's going to be hell. But, you know, we might... Metro currently is in the predicted map list. You know, we banned 320s and things like that. We might do some specific bans just for weapons if the community has a cry out for it. But I can say that 4s and 5s is being discussed maybe for the tournament in the winter or the fall or whatever. You know, something along those lines.
But it's so much easier for teams to get 4s teams together. It's a lot harder for... you know, a 12v12 type game mode. So wouldn't it be more beneficial to go with the 12v12 to get players to play that rather than playing 4v4? Because, you know, we have 3 people in this channel right now. I could just grab somebody off my friends list and play 4v4. It's easy to do that.
I agree, and CGL is more or less inclined to agree with you as well, mainly just for the fact that they want to be able to keep their 8s going as long as possible, and that's a really good it's a really good support tool for the AV8 community to have this league running. We're hoping it's going to be a revival, and we're hoping it draws a lot of attention to CGL, which is, as you stated previously, run by Gator, and the Ass Hat and some other guys over there that have done a great job with the Battlefield 3 community. But I can guarantee that the 8s and 12s aren't going to be forgotten, and that this tool, as in the draft league, will be utilized elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine how many teams there would be if this was 4v4? Like,
Yeah,
it would
see,
be like
that's-
impossible to like keep track of everything.
That's one of the things that we have kicking around the forums as a possible negative. So, I mean, there's been more of a cry from the infantry guys to have this type of thing, but honestly, I don't see it being as viable for that reason alone. Servers would be another thing. Just the resources at our disposal would be a little stretched too thin for that type of event.
And really, the 4v4 scene isn't doing that bad, really. I mean, there's a good amount of competition going on right now in CGL for 4v4, so until that's kind of dying down, I really don't see too much of a need for a draft in that area.
Right, it doesn't need a boost anytime soon.
They're already here.
Chuck, you got any other questions?
No, I really don't. So other than hoping that you put a 12v12 thing together, so the pilots can really actually have some fun, because even though pilots are needed in 8v8, it's not as great as a 12v12 map or something like that, because planes will bail, or people won't man planes, or whatever the strategy ends up being. 8v8's just still a tad bit lacking compared to 12v12.
All right, cool. Well, Cute, is there any news you could break as far as when we might be able to see signups, maybe when the draft is, or anything of that nature?
Gator has done a fantastic job putting this site together in a short period of time. It's still going over some trial, rankings and how it gets organized on the site, but I would say early this week, and then the draft maybe Sunday of next week, assuming we get the site launched in a timely manner. And then the league would follow a week after that. And we haven't decided on days yet, but it's likely to be two matches a week.
Awesome. And if you guys are listening, chuckster and I will be bringing you the draft live over Twitch, so we'll keep you updated as far as where that'll be at and that kind of thing. So unless you got anything else for him, Chuck, I got no more questions for Chronic.
No, speaking about that little live stream, we have some interesting ideas that are being tossed around right now, so make sure you tune in. We should have some pretty cool shit going on, some player cards or some type of thing, and hopefully some match video from some of the top players. So just make sure you tune in. Thanks to AcuteChronic.
No problem, man. Pleasure being here.
Yep, thanks for joining us, dude. Appreciate it.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Later. Let's get to our sponsor section, which actually has become my favorite part of the fucking podcast. No longer is the shout out, but the sponsor section.
This podcast brought to you by Callisto's Biceps. Keep posing strong, bro. Gamers Against Abandoning Tanks, and Lunesta, Lithos' preferred sleep aid.
Now, those are some quality sponsors, so let's get out to...
We're getting better every week, dude. It's unbelievable.
It's just adding on to the greatness. Let's get to our shoutouts. I got two. I got one from chuckster from World Class Assassins. He wants to give a shout out to Nazer, World Class Assassins top fragger.
Nazer?
Yeah.
I don't recall that name on the roster.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, you wouldn't recall him as a top fragger if you did know his real name,
right.
His game name. So.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then Huntsman from World Class Assassins wants to give a shout out to Chuckster, myself, for lifting those heavy cereal boxes. Apparently, I'm getting pretty big lifting those things. Pretty
You gotta
swole.
start somewhere, dude.
Callisto started there. He ended there, and I just gotta work my way up.
Take it a step above.
Yeah.
I got a couple shout outs as well. My first is from Rec from Team Nexus. And he wants to give a shout out to Rival X Factor for raging during a quote friendly YouTube PubStar tournament. So strong shout out there. And then my second shout out is from me personally to Travis, aka PHP Gator, and really all the guys over at the CGL. They're really doing a good job of listening to the community and making that place the best place to play competitively Battlefield 3 action. So I think I speak for everyone when I say thank you, and we cannot wait for this Giraffe League to kick off.
Speaking of rage, I almost forgot. Shout out,
Rage?
you know, X Factor rage.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, CGL, good job, guys. You guys are fucking killing it. But the rage, I want to give a shout out to Macalai. I just want to know, did that vein in your head pop yet, or what's going on with that? So, and make sure you guys stay tuned, because there is a small little clip of the stud himself, Macalai, in a scrim with the one, the only Chuckster and Beast, and he might be getting trolled a little bit.
I think he was a little mad.
Just a tad.
I think you guys can be the judges for yourself. So I think that's all we got other than the clip of the week at the end here.
All right, so tune in next week. Make sure you guys subscribe, follow, whatever you guys got to do for YouTube, and like it.
And the next time we see you might be live on Twitch TV, so we'll definitely look forward to that.
We will put out a special little podcast just to let you know with where you need to go to make sure that you stay tuned to our little channel.
Awesome. We will talk to you guys next week.
Later.
Peace.
Hey man,
You're a fucking idiot.
you shouldn't have been in my
I
reticle,
told you not
bro.
to fucking kill me. I told you 8 times not to tell me I was leaving. And then you're like, oh my god, you left after you killed me.
I can't help it, man.
I mean, oh my god, we're really surprised.
All right, I'm gonna spawn in. Triple sec. I'm in.
Fucking idiot.
Oh, okay,
Triple sec. I'm in. Over.
Take the Jeep. Over. Take his tank.
Fuck. I'm going.
Holy shit. We're all piled in here. Let's go.
Come on. Get in.
What the fuck? Is this actually live?
Hold on.
Yeah,
Wait.
there we go.
Motherfucker.
What?
Fuck.
Well, come on. Get in.
Who's fucking driving?
All right, I'm driving.
Oh my fucking.
What the fuck are we doing?
There we go.
Whatever. I'm taking the Humvee straight
Alright.
up the motherfucking middle.
All right, Matt. Who's gonna arrest me?
Spider-Man. Spider Monkey.
I'm not
Alright,
fucking
take it.
leave again.
Take. No, take it. I'm sorry. Take it.
Man, fucking idiot. Now I'm fucking stuck. Just a dumbass.
You are a butt faggot.
Life's
I
bad,
can't get the
listen
fuck
to him.
out now. I'm stuck on the fucking
Life's
road.
bad. Life's so bad.
We're not stuck. Drive.
I'm fucking stuck because Chuck's a fucking idiot.
Life's so bad.
Here's your med kit. Blow it the fuck up.
Life's bad. Watch out for Light. He's a bad one. He's a bad one.